Welcome to the Fantasy Football Forge. This is going to be my first best ball draft that I have done in several years, but definitely for this season, the first one that I will have done. And so I'm not a big stakes person, so it's not a big stakes draft, but wanted to bring you along for the ride, and I'll edit this into something. But let me know if you want to do these live at any point this off season. We can figure out a time to get into them together. We'll say one thing for all drafts is always remain liquid in them is the best strategy. That being said, I'm going to go into this attempting to hold off on both quarterback and tight end and take up a lot of the wide receivers, running backs with my early draft picks and just see how that roster ends up looking up, because that's really the main reason I'm doing this, is to see what the field looks like currently with drafting where players are kind of going right now. I'm not going to be using my own draft board, so that will also add an interesting element here. Definitely sways decisions when you're not using, when you're using a public draft board, not your own draft board. So that's why I like to go into drafts with my own draft board. But it's good to know what the, if you're with a group of people and they're all drafting off of one board or something, I always grab that and keep track of that, so I know what players maybe I could hold off on a little bit more, and just to have that general knowledge of where players are going in the draft, so you don't, even if you like a guy a couple rounds early, you don't need to take him 2 rounds too early. Just 1 round too early is fine. So I am going to be at pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Seeing Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey go off the board. I was seeing Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, Tyreek Hill go off of the board. I am going to be coming up soon. Really don't want to feel like I have to take Cooper Kupp, so that's good. Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce. It's a toughie. I was going to hold off on the tight ends, so let's stick with that. And I will take Stephon Diggs. We've seen A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler, Garrett Wilson get taken off the board. And we're coming up in just a few picks. So goes Barkley, JT goes off, and Jalen Waddle right in front of me. There's just a few too many Devonta Adams questions. I think I would feel more comfortable with Amon-Ra St. Brown here. 2 wide receivers to kick this off. We'll see how that works down the road. I wouldn't have been opposed to taking Jalen Hurts there, that's for sure, or one of the top running backs. But I'm hoping somebody will drop to me a little later. If you're not aware, for these best ball drafts, start 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a flex, which could be wide receiver, tight end, running back, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. Generally, you want 2 to 3 quarterbacks, 2 to 3 tight ends, 5 to 7 wide receivers, 4 to 6 running backs. There's 18 rounds. Just don't want more than 3 quarterbacks or tight ends ever, though. So we've seen Derrick Henry go off, Devonta Adams, Chris Olave, Pollard, Nick Chubb. Okay, so I've gone through, starred a few guys. So we've seen Jacobs, Smith, Hurts, George Kittle, DK Metcalf go off. Coming up soon, unfortunately, Josh Allen goes. I would have definitely gone ahead and taken him with Stephon Diggs. Ramondre's at the top of this board, and he was like a top 3 running back or something in my projections when I did those. Haven't had that video come out yet, so that would have been, I would have definitely gone for that. Breece Hall seems scary to me. Mark Andrews wouldn't be bad if I wasn't fading the tight ends. I'm going to continue with that plan. And it looks like I'm going to end up with 3 wide receivers here. I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to go to some team, and there's such a high chance that he's going to go to a better situation than he was in Arizona. So I have my wide receiver spots locked up. It's time to start hunting these down. So we'll just put some... So I just added Justin Fields on because that just feels like such a high upside play that you really can't find elsewhere at quarterback at this point in the draft, or at any point. So I might think about doing that despite my plans. Still on the board, Lamar Jackson went, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Amari Cooper. And could take a fourth wide receiver, and that fills up a flex spot. So let's see. Joe Burrow just went ahead. You know what? Boy, I think we're going to go ahead and stick to the plan. Take Jahmyr Gibbs off of the board here. Definite high upside for him. Could be a boom or bust guy. We don't know how much he's really going to get on the field, so there's some concern with that. Here we are, late fourth round, seeing a run on the wide receivers. Christian Watson, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk. Let's see who El Paco goes with. There's no way Justin Fields makes it back to me all the way back there. That would be brilliant. I'm just adding Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence onto my board just so I have an idea of where he's going here. We're coming up on pick 50. So I'm going to check the wide receivers. Is there anybody that I really don't want to miss out on here? I mean, Marquise Brown, kind of. And there goes Justin Fields off the board. Hawkinson, Lawrence. Yeah, it's a shame. 4 picks away from me. The question is, I want to push my luck with these guys and take a flex / extra wide receiver. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it and see how this works out. He doesn't go tight end. Probably pop off on Kyle Pitts. I really like the upside for Kyle Pitts. He could have some explosive weeks. George Pickens. Okay. You know what? I said I was going to hold off on the tight end, so let's continue to do that. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift here. So far since my last pick, Kyle Pitts got taken right behind me. Deshaun Watson, Jackson Smith, Mike Evans, Kadarius Toney, Geno Smith, Jordan Addison, Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, Darren Waller. I'm thinking at this point, probably going to end up with 6 running backs, possibly like 3 tight ends or 3 quarterbacks. If I get Anthony Richardson, I think I would go 3 quarterbacks just out of fear that he might not even start all season. But the upside would be great with him later in the draft. So that's where I'm at right now. Tyler Lockett, Darren Waller, Cam Akers, if I didn't say him, off the board. Goddard goes off. Rashad White. My board's thinning out here. Deontay Johnson, Traylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, all enticing options to take from wide receivers. Isaiah Pacheco. So I know those wide receivers are going to be popping off in between my picks. And I don't care. I'm going to push it a little bit further. So one with Deontay Johnson. Didn't want any bye week collusion going on here for my wide receivers. And I might just stick with 5 wide receivers. That's about as low as I should go. All right, so Evan Ingram, Traylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, Alexander Madison. Wasn't really interested in him. I'm just going to go for upside running backs eventually here. Oh. I think I would have to pass on Anthony Richardson for James Conner. David Montgomery. I don't know. Yeah, that makes it easier. Anthony Richardson off the board. Javonte Williams goes off. I'm going to take James Conner. Expect a fair, he really projected well for me. Expect a fair bit of work for him. It's definitely going to be his backfield. Hopefully he doesn't get injured or anything like that. And bye week looks pretty good there too for him. So now I'm going to start, let's see here. My next pick is pick 104. There's 1 quarterback taken. Going to be a quarterback need in there. Tight end, just as heavy of a need between my picks. All right, so I'm starting to just kind of go through, like I have my secret weapon at quarterback is going to be a pickup of Trey Lance, which probably might require me to go 3 quarterback. I don't know. Probably would be wise. And then I'm just going through my tight ends and quarterbacks. But since James Conner, A.J. Dillon, David Montgomery, James Cook, Brandon Cooks, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham. Brandon Cooks, good pickup there. And so I have a few secret weapons that I intend to take in my later rounds. 104, 113, 128, 137. So I could get 2 of these tight ends, and we'll see about one of these quarterbacks. One of them just got taken. Dak Prescott, Boyd, Njoku, Alvin Kamara, Brian Robinson. Devin A-Chain definitely would like to take in here. So if I could get Tua this late, I think that would be really nice. I wouldn't mind pairing Jared Goff up with the Monroe St. Brown, but I don't mind not pushing a stack. And this would be a good spot just based on how these things are falling, I'd be okay. I'd rather have Tua than Pat Fryermuth, I think. I'd rather take 3 tight ends and get some deep guys there. So I'm going to go Tua. Do need some running backs. Like I said, Devin A-Chain would be brilliant. Devon A-Chain, Devin. So I'm not too worried about Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. Not that they'd be bad. And there goes Devon A-Chain. That's a shame. 3 picks before me there. I won't be. I have high hopes for Antonio Gibson, so I wouldn't be opposed to that. The Chicago running backs, one of them's got to do something. And Kendre Miller's got some upside. All right, so I'm up on the board, and Antonio Gibson's still available, so we'll just pop that off, get our RB number 4. My next pick be about 124. Hopefully we get Chig Okonkwo there, and I'll probably double up and grab Greg Dulcich at the same time. All right, Darnell Mooney, Danny Dimes, Elijah Mitchell, Juju Smith-Schuster, Dalton Kincaid, Mike Gesicki, Mingo, Lazard, Kirk Cousins, Jerick McKinnon off of the board. I have 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers. I'm probably going to go 2 more running backs. I don't know. This is my board right now, and I think I would take Dulcich instead of Kendre Miller here. Just one more spot here, and we get Chig. I'll be happy with. Should be a big play guy. Have some good weeks, have some bad weeks, and add a little. It'll pop into my lineup here. Turkey Slayer takes Jacoby Myers. Could be a good pick. And I will take Chig. So let's see here. I mean, I could take Jared Goff to line up with, Monroe St. Brown. Wouldn't be a bad idea, especially with me going probably Trey Lance later. But I really think I want Greg Dulcich. Yeah, I'm gonna hope that Tua has a healthy year, and I might even go with 2 quarterbacks. And just make it a really upside lineup, in hopes that Trey Lance, assuming I end up getting him, is the starter for the season, or at least a good chunk of it, or something like that. We'll see. All right, coming up to my pick, we got Zay Jones off, Russell Wilson, Adam Thielen, Jared Goff goes off, so hey, that makes it easier for me. Michael Gallup, Jamal Williams. And so I'm going to add Greg Dulcich here. Now, I feel really good about my tight ends, actually. I could take Jake Ferguson late, but I have a lot of hope and faith for these 2. I'm probably not going to worry about that. And that would allow me to take 3 quarterbacks if I want, and definitely add another wide receiver, running back instead if I want to. One thing I did notice, got the double bye week here with Antonio Gibson, James Conner. My running backs are weak, so I'm definitely going to want to have at least 6 running backs. I just went through, kind of picked out running backs that I could take late that I would want to add. Some guys who may have opportunities, may not, a little unknown. Dwayne McBride, I think technically could end up being the starter for Minnesota, depending on what happens with Dalvin Cook. MVS, Nico, Irv Smith, Jordan Love going in front of me. One more pick here off of the board in front of me. It is Jalen Warren. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll take Raheem Mostert. Yeah. And we'll come around, and I'll probably take Chase Brown over Deonta Foreman. Just because I'm really high up on Chase Brown. I actually think there's a very good chance he could be the starter for Cincinnati this season. The closer we get to the season, the more and more I'm going to doubt that. But I really liked him as a prospect, and there's a whole load of issues for Mixon going on. So we'll see. After Mostert, saw Higbee go off the board, Foreman, Bigsby, Tank for Jacksonville, Rondale Moore, Juwan Johnson, tight end. 3 more picks ahead of me. So I'm really debating. Jalen Hyatt goes in front of me. A couple quarterbacks went up ahead of me. It could make me nervous, but you can see there's a big difference in the thought between Kyler Murray and the next group. I've got arguments for going either way, but I think I really want a potential big hitter to come in here and Chase Brown. You know, DeAndre Swift, we even have health concerns for. So I'm going to finish up my running backs with that. I was thinking, you know, I wouldn't be too opposed to a Tyjae Spears in the event of an injury there. He could be the starter, which I might be relying on for Chase Brown anyways. Kenneth Gainwell, I mean, he could still get a lot of the work. I guess I wouldn't want to pair him up with DeAndre Swift. And then Dwayne McBride would be, you know, a nice long shot to be a potential starter that I could take really late. But we're going to get those guys off of our board here. I'm going to start looking at some wide receivers here while I wait. And it looks like there's a big push for wide receivers around this area of the draft. DJ Shark, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jaden Reed go off. All these wide receivers expect to be going off in the next 20 picks. And Kyler Murray goes off, so now my quarterback is hanging on by a thread. Hopefully this guy won't be taking my quarterback. He's already got 4 of them, which does make me a little extra nervous that Sean 11 could be needy. And just looking ahead here, I do see Ruined only has 1 quarterback, and he'll be going twice in between these 2 picks. So I would be going Trey Lance here, passing up on potentially Rashid Shaheed, Wan'Dale Robinson. Luckily, so far, Sean went KJ Osborne at 8 wide receivers. Ben Jefferson for 9 wide receivers. Seems a little heavy. Just 1 pick before me, Gus Edwards. And I really feel like I have to make the slight reach for Trey Lance here. And then if I go for a 3rd quarterback, it would be Brock Purdy. So I have to think about that. And then I would just lock up this San Francisco quarterback. Rashid Shaheed goes off the board, and so we will go Trey Lance. All right, so I've just gone through, kind of come up with my final board here for the last 3 picks of who I'm really interested in most of all. And so after Trey Lance, Wan'Dale Robinson, Taysom Hill, Hunter Renfrow, Dawson Knox, Robert Woods, Jerome Ford, all off of the board. Brock Purdy doesn't go here. There's a small chance he could make it around to me, I would say, on my next pick. After this pick. So I need another wide receiver. I feel like I could have taken one a little bit earlier. And I guess I'll go very much on a hope and a prayer with Josh Downs here. I love the guy a lot. Concerns about the quarterback situation, but maybe as the season goes along, things could come together. If there's an injury or anything like that, hopefully I just don't need his services, but we'll need that safety blanket there, 6 wide receivers. Just really don't love this receiver. Like, Tim Patrick projected really, really well for me. Just, you know, a little concerned about returning from injury with him. And then after that, I mean, it gets pretty yucky. I think the wide receiver is getting drafted pretty well as far as guys with upside. You know, Cedric Tillman, I suppose, could offer some crazy mid-late season upside, an injury there or something. He could even end up as the wide receiver 2 there. So Chuba Hubbard, Gainwell, Jake Ferguson went off the board there. Ouch. Planning on taking him with my roster. That's all right. There's a lot of tight ends here that I wouldn't mind grabbing as a 3rd tight end if I want one, which I might end up wanting one here. See if Brock Purdy, gosh, I don't know about, is that a good idea, bad idea? It's kind of a wasted spot on a best ball roster. I guess that's the bad part of taking Trey Lance. Maybe spending 2 spots there, kind of on one thing. A little scary. But, I mean, I feel like with a little bit of luck in the health department, that could work out just fine. Turkey Slayer is drafted oddly. Only has 1 quarterback right now. He's probably planning on taking a quarterback tight end with his final 2 picks, I guess. See if he likes Brock Purdy. He likes one of those tight ends. He liked one of the tight ends, so we are going to go ahead, take Brock Purdy. I don't know, let me know what you think of that choice to grab both of them once I went with Trey Lance. Was that, even if you disagree with it, was that still maybe not the worst call ever? I mean, I feel like I'm so locked down with these top 5 wide receivers, just hoping that they stay healthy or whatnot. But between them, should be able to get 3 out each week, and then, if need be, fill in that flex spot with a good week, hopefully from somewhere else. Makes me a little bit thin though. Michael Mayer, tight end, coming off. So I think right now I'd prioritize wide receiver over running back. And to be honest, I mean, thing is, running back is like the most injury prone position. So there'd be nothing wrong with having 7 running backs, but basically probably waiting on an injury for either of these two. Whereas at least these guys offer, these tight ends offer me some sort of weekly potential. And if I were to go, I would take Luke Musgrave, go for upside out of this bunch. I probably would go like that. I'm really debating between Cedric Tillman, Luke Musgrave. Cedric Tillman's got this little news tag on him. Does that mean he's injured right now already? Sam Howell goes off. Knew he's going quarterback. So I think the smart decision, I believe, is to go Cedric Tillman, especially because my wide receivers, there are some questions on, so I'm going to do that. Every bone and fiber of my body really wanted to go Luke Musgrave here or a tight end, but I'm really happy with the 2 tight ends I got. We don't know where DeAndre Hopkins is going yet, so that's part of the risk. This whole thing's, fantasy football is a risk. And it's not like Marquise Brown, Deontay Johnson have the biggest upsides in the world anyways. So, yeah, we'll get a guy who I think could end up being the number 2 wide receiver there to start the season. And Josh Jones, I think I got 3 high floor guys. Another high floor guy here, really. Yeah, I'm hoping for my pop to come from some of my other positions here. So that's my roster. What do you think of this? Tua Tagovailoa, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy for my quarterbacks. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, James Conner, Antonio Gibson, Raheem Mostert, Chase Brown. Really chasing some pop here. That's a little bit. It doesn't look sexy, but I see the potential with all of them. Obviously, that's why I took them. Then Stephon Diggs, Amon St. Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, Deontay Johnson, Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman from my wide receiver group, and Chig and Greg Dulcich, who I think could really provide some nice pop for where I got them in the draft. So I do like the idea of going tight end late. I think I want some exposure to Trey Lance, but I'm definitely not going to be taking him in too many drafts because that just creates such a question mark. And quarterbacks, I was a little surprised how long some of them lasted, so not too bad there. I don't know how this draft ends. Let's see if there's any kind of analysis on how I did. Otherwise, if there's not, then I'll end it here. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe. If you want more of it, let me know. If you want to join in on a draft with me, let me know. We could do this live. That'd be fun. I just kind of sat here talking to myself. Look at this guy. 10 wide receivers. Such a thin squad. Tight end. Did you get a second tight end at least there? There's some options. See, I wouldn't mind waiting if I had like Travis Kelce, and then you just take Luke Musgrave or something at the end of the draft. Not a whole lot of overlap as far as my team exposure goes. I like that. A lot of variety. Raheem Mostert to pair up with Tua. I don't know how that works out. A little bit of something there. Bye-bye.